Welcome to this episode of Studio Dialogues. Today's guest is a wonderful artist from Catalonia, Spain. Her name is Angela Barbi. Armed with a knack for languages and making friends, Angela is an artist as well as the director of EPC art courses, wherein she organizes many workshops and painting holidays in her region. She is someone who has interacted with many people across different cultures, and I'm really looking forward to my conversation with her today. Hi, Angela. Welcome to Studio Dialogues. I want to start with talking about you as a person, about your background and your career in art and otherwise.
Thank you, Sika. It's a pleasure to be here. And what a good idea, this program this project that you've put together. And thanks for the invitation.
You're welcome.
You're asking about my background as an artist or in general?
Both. So I believe you spent a lot of years teaching languages.
Actually, my university degree is in psychology, but at the same time, I was doing English in my spare time or to earn some money as a student. I was teaching English, and then it was a time when English was really strong and there were no teachers. So I started taking jobs as a teacher, and in the end, that became my profession. And
Okay.
because I was teaching teenagers, you have to use your psychology a lot as well, as you understand. So I did the teaching for many different ages, but in the end, I went to work in a school, secondary school, 14 to 18, and that was my main job. I did some private classes to adults as well, but that was my main job. For 6 years, I did an exchange. There was a European project to exchange students from one school to another in a different country, and I did an exchange as part of the project, the European Work Experience Exchange, with the local, the Catalan, let's say, government, and they paid for our trips, and it was a very good thing for me. That opened up a lot, because we did the exchange with England in a very lovely place that many people maybe haven't heard of, which is Stockport. Stockport is next to Manchester. And so a lot of bonds were established with a school there. The teacher came to Spain, brought her students, and I found the work placement to do the work experience. And then I took my students there. They were staying with families. So I did that for 6 years. It was really, really very interesting. And then when I went to England, I went to see them in their work placement. So that was one part of my job that I enjoyed very, very much. It was like the prequel of the painting holidays that I later organized, which is
Yes.
not the same, but in a way similar, It was not only a language or a work experience, it was more life, and some of these have become really friends for life. If these people had been painting, imagine the effect it would have had, having this exchange to live with a family, or to live, for example, a painter here that goes to live with a painter somewhere else for 2 weeks. That is an incredible eye-opener, and it opens up your mind, and you are influenced by the views he has, and you influence the other person. And not only language, it's a language for me. I like languages a lot because it's not the language that you speak. It's not the pure language, but it's all the culture that is behind it. And it's a way of thinking, a way of living. For example, in Spain, you go to a bar and you say, 1 Coke. In England, you cannot do that.
Yeah.
Or I want 1 Coke. Never. It would sound very rude.
Very rude, yeah.
Can I have a Coke, please?
Yeah.
And everyone does it, young people, and how can I help you? Can I help you? Here, it's different culture. It's not that we are rude. It's just a different culture.
Yeah, that's very interesting. Yes, because languages are not really just the words. It's about communicating the entire way of life.
Exactly, exactly. And when I was the origin of languages with me is when I was 4, my parents went to live in Holland. So I spoke Catalan at home. Catalan is my mother tongue. And then in the country, I had to learn, and to go to school, I had to learn Dutch.
I see.
So it took me 3 months or so, and then I learned Dutch. I was bilingual, Catalan and Dutch. But Spanish, I didn't know. So when we returned to Spain, all the school was in Spanish,
Ah,
and I
really?
couldn't understand it.
Oh,
So I had to learn Spanish. I was 7, and for 3 months, I didn't understand the books, what they said, and everything.
wow.
But then and then at the school there was French, so it was new Spanish and new French, and I think that my head was like, oh, what a mess there. But all of a sudden, it just popped, poop, and then I understood. I started to speak Spanish and learn everything because all the books were in Spanish, and French also. I started to go well, and I think with these 4 languages at such an early age, because it was Catalan, Spanish, French, and Dutch, that already opened up my capacity for languages,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
and, uh, and it developed from there. You know.
And they say about languages that every time you learn a new language, you open up parts of your brain which which
Yes,
aren't really
yes,
active, which is amazing, I think.
yes, yes, yes,
How
definitely.
about the art in your life? How did that come into your life?
Uh, there in Holland, I remember I was 4, 5, 6. I was always drawing girls. I was my main pastime was to draw women, girls, and horses. I remember. And here at school, I was always very good at drawing and not so much at painting because it was more the drawing and coloring, but not painting. And then when I got older, I took my son to a painting class, and then I wanted to join. And it was more the use of color, pure color, according to the anthroposophy school. But that was a long time ago when my son was uh, maybe 10, and he's 33 now. So a long time ago. And I there again I discovered it was a big world, the world of color, the theory of color, each color, which what effect it has on us. It's like a therapeutic also. It's color therapy. Why what effect does the yellow have on you, or the blue, or red is very, here I am, and all of these things. And you also evolve in your journey, in your painting journey, parallel to these colors that you're using. Like for example, white. What does white mean? White means emptiness. What do you do when you there is no lines, there is no outline? How do you bear this empty space and try to make something with it? It's the negative painting in a way. So very, very good. And then later, but I was working as a teacher, so that was my hobby, let's say. And when I finished teaching in 2005, I stopped the teaching. Then it just came naturally. It came this thing about the painting holidays, and it was very funny, very, very surprising. But some people I knew from indirectly through this exchange, this man was organizing a painting holiday with his brother. This man is John Glenn. John Glenn, he was already retired, but he's an excellent, excellent, organizer. I'm not a tenth of what he is. He's just excellent. He used to be a principal of his school. And so he said, listen, I don't want to continue doing this. Would you like to do it? And what happened? Bing, a light bulb. Yeah. Oh, why not? yes, why not? Now I'm not doing anything. And the brother who was Don Glynn, also a very good painter, he had done courses with Alvaro, with Charles Reed and other painters. He said, I can get these people to come to you. I said, no, it's impossible. They don't know me. Nobody knows me. You know, I mean, they are very big. Imagine Charles Reed is an institution, no? But but they accepted to come. Can you imagine? I couldn't believe it. No, it seems like sometimes life brings you some presents, and if you, it's like an opportunity, no? It's like what they say about the train, you know? The train passes, you hop on it or not.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I hopped on this train, and it was just developing from there. It just developed. So it was something I enjoyed very much. And from one course a year, then it became more, you know, but it was very, very flowing. Sometimes the best things are the ones that happen by chance, not the ones
Yeah.
that you look very hard. I have to do this. You have
Yes.
to let
Yes.
life flow.
I think some things are meant to be, and I think if it comes your way and you hop on, it just flows naturally, right? Superb. So just so our viewers know that EPC it stands for enjoy.
Enjoy painting, the P for painting, C, Catalonia. Because it started in Catalonia. Catalonia is that part of Spain,
Mhm.
and Girona is a part of Catalonia.
You know, when you're connected to your land, you want to do things which I think the natural love for your land also leads to these things, right? Because you know you can only present something well to the world when you love it and you're connected to it.
Yes, yes, that's essential for me. That you can connect, that you're motivated, that you're passionate about what you're doing and about your land. I mean, my province, I'm so lucky to live in a province that is so beautiful. It has, for me, some of the best beaches I've ever seen. But also inland, there are very near the sea places, the coast. There are many medieval villages and stone houses and very well kept,
Oh,
similar to Tuscany a bit. Only
wow.
Tuscany is more mountainous. But even Italians say it. Yeah, it reminds me of Tuscany. We have
No.
very good food, very good wines. And the mountains, we also have the Pyrenees. You know, in a small province, we have everything. We can go skiing, you have hiking, you have a lot of variety.
Wow.
And, you know, middle mountain, high mountain. So the place obviously offers a lot. The venue is, you can, it's very painterly, everything.
So you know, it's lovely that you have been exposed to so many languages as a kid. So, has that in some way influenced, you know, your decision to do the painting holidays and to, you know, connect with more people? Was it like easier, you know, to connect with most Europeans, for instance?
Yes.
Has that helped
Yes,
you?
because once you are open to these different cultures, you just want to connect with them. And for me, but this I've had since I was very young. I remember my 15th birthday, I had like people from 7 or 8 nationalities, and that for me was such a big pleasure. You know, it was like I felt like good and well, and this maybe the fact of living in Holland, it is a totally different culture from Spain, and is a bit more similar to German or British. So I want to to have people with that mentality and that culture. But at the same time, so in that way, English people, I started the painting holidays with a lot of British people, but then also other Europeans, like from Norway or Finland or Italy and other places. But then I want to expand more, you know, to have people from other countries. I even had 2 or 3 times I've had Indian people. Once I had 4 Indians, which was the first time. But here we've got even Japanese people from Japan, from New Zealand, from South Africa, from Canada, from Argentina, you know, all over the world. And this for me is so rich, because a person from Japan is totally different from a person from Argentina, for example. But they are like complementary, you understand?
Yes.
So the way one sets up his easel, starts painting, is very different from the way the other person would do it, you know. South African or Spanish people also, you get Spanish people. And all of this, no, all of them moving, flowing, and sharing, and it doesn't matter. One has this approach, the other one has the other approach, and then during the dinners and lunches or the beer that you have together, then you share all the other things about topics about painting that are really, you know, in one course, I remember one course with Alvaro, there was someone from Israel, their friends, then they become friends, you know, people that they didn't know each other the first day, they become such good friends at the end of the week. So there was this man from Israel, a Polish person that now lives in Spain, another Polish living in England, and the Turkish woman. So there was like these 5 or 6 people, they were so strongly connected.
Yeah.
So strongly connected.
Amazing. Yeah.
And this is just an example, you know, this is just an example. But I think it's essential to open up your mind and to open up to new cultures. In this way, all these festivals are helping tremendously to see beyond your little world around you. There is the Watercolor Association from Barcelona, the Catalan Watercolor Association.
Okay.
So if I only meet them, or even the Watercolor Association of Girona, I go out with them, but they all paint in a similar way.
Yeah.
Bring an Indian person, it will be different.
Absolutely. So, Angela, that reminds me. You know, I believe you're part of many international festivals. For example, Fabiano, IWS. Which ones are you like a part of? You know, as an organizer or as a founder?
I was the founder of IWS Spain.
Okay.
That in 2014 that happened. Then it changed the person, the leader. But I started that just because I thought it was such a good idea to have people from all over Spain, all our regions inside Spain have different personalities. And there are very good painters all over Spain, like in Galicia, in Andalusia, where you went, or in Valencia, in Catalonia, in the Basque Country, Madrid, in the center. There are many good painters. Yes. So I like to have a representative of each part of Spain. So to show that we could be together and do something together, do projects together. That's what I got very passionate about. Then in Fabriano, I will, every time I will be more involved, but I'm not the leader in Fabriano. I will be the leader for probably for some other issue, another field. Then I am part of National Watercolor Society, you know, in San Diego. I'm not yet a signature member, but maybe I will become. And then I cannot remember, another American association also.
Okay.
And some association in Belgium, or used to be, now they have stopped that. And in Catalonia, this Catalan association, the official one.
So, I mean, I think it's lovely that you've been exposed to different cultures and different societies around, you know, because of art. And how do you think that's helped you develop as an artist?
Well, especially because I've seen many different ways of painting. Like, for example, when I was teaching, every year there was a sort of symposium. They were called jornadas for teaching English. So we would have 2 or 3 days with different lectures or workshops. And you would have some people who give the workshop and you attend there. I would never have thought of that, because your mind works in one direction. Even if you're open, whatever, you cannot think differently. So when you went there, you, oh, yes, that's so easy. Yes, I will use that. It was like, oof, a breath of fresh air. So in the same way, being in contact with different painters of different countries, different nationalities, different backgrounds is so, so good. Like, I don't know, I would never have met maybe Nicolas Lopez
Yeah.
If I hadn't been to Fabriano, or, Sylvia, I met Sylvia Monge, I met in, she came to Spain to do a course, but then we were in touch, and many other painters or Russian painters that I love a lot. It's totally different ways of painting, and that has helped me. That has helped me a lot, either for their colors or their looseness or their compositions.
Yes. So also, Angela, I feel like, what is culture? Culture is basically what our beliefs are, what we have grown up with, our way of
Yes,
life, right? Which we manifest in our art. So, I will paint what I know, what I believe in. And, even if it's breaking the boundaries, it's about my beliefs, right? Which are
yes,
influenced by my culture. So, and given the fact that, Europe is so different from India, for instance, or Asia. So, what are your, observations about, since you have been to India many times and you have interacted with Indians?
yes.
What's your opinion on, how the cultures are different and how that shows in the art?
One very big difference is that in Asia in general, in India also, the painters are much younger.
Okay.
So here in Europe is like population is getting older,
Mm.
and so the way to paint maybe is more, especially older people. Like the association in Barcelona, most people are over 60 or 70.
Okay.
And so that makes a change. It's more traditional,
Mm-hmm.
let's say, more figurative,
Mm-hmm.
but also it has a big wave of creative and new approaches, new investigation. I find this. In India, what I know about India, because I don't know so much, but anyway, what I have seen in India, the people tend to be younger.
Mm-hmm.
You start younger. Also, you are very, in general, you're very good with your hands and your feet. You're very skilled.
Mm-hmm.
You're very, very skilled. And you use your body a lot for your cultural thing, or, you even eat with your hands sometimes. Not everyone, but or there are lots of crafts people, or with little, you can do a lot of things with your hands, so that gives you a lot of skill to draw and for me, there's very high quality painters in India. Another characteristic is that you are very, very colorful,
Mm-hmm.
intense colors in general.
Yes. No, absolutely.
Intense colors,
It's true. Yeah. because
like
because
with
I
what,
think our traditional dresses, our traditional
exactly.
rituals all include a lot of color, a lot of different elements.
Yeah,
You
like
know,
look
in,
at the Holi festival.
yes, absolutely. So one of the things you said was very interesting, that we use our hands a lot. So one of our art forms, which is very traditional, it's not an art, but it's actually that, because women draw these rangolis in front of our houses. We just take rice powder or colored powder and we
You see,
create art in
yes.
front of our houses. And I know women who do this every day, and they are amazing. The kind of control they have on their, how they do it. It's superb. So it's like an art form, really, doing
Yes, yes,
rangolis.
yes, 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 yes. And the way I've seen, even I've seen it many times, like
Yes.
apart from the fact that you sit and you can bend your legs, because it's a cultural thing, you know. Sometimes in schools, I've seen schools with no tables, so the pupils sit on the floor, and they have to. In general, everybody can bend their knees a lot, no?
Yes.
But then people use their feet as hands to hold, for example, people that were repairing shoes or
Yes.
whatever. They hold the shoes with the feet,
Yeah.
and then they work. And so skilled, so skilled.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
even
also I
as
think
you
the
say,
diverse cultures, and it's incredible the number of art forms that exist in India, and I think some of them are getting lost because there's no one to carry them forward. But it includes a lot of embroideries and a lot of
uh-huh,
textiles and
lot of
even
handmade.
even art
There are a lot
forms.
of handmade art, huh?
Yes, there's a lot of handmade art in India. So I think we come from the culture of having grown up with multitude of art forms.
Yes. And also another characteristic that is totally different from Europe, totally, is
Hmm.
that many artists are very spiritual.
Hmm.
There is very often the presence of either the image of your gods, for example, Ganesha
Yeah.
or whatever, or Lord Shiva, or uh,
So many
it's
gods.
like, sorry.
We have hundreds of gods.
Yes, you have hundreds of gods and the goddesses like
Yes.
Durga or whatever, but it appears in your art. It is like your art is more spiritual.
Hmm.
In Europe is much more materialistic,
Hmm.
more physical, more, I don't know. It's we would not think of painting the image of Virgin Mary or Christ unless you are a
But
very
would you say that's because of the evolution of how art has evolved in Europe? Because the pre-Renaissance and the Renaissance period is all about Christianity and about spirituality and religion. So it has really evolved from that to the present day art. I mean, I would say that's a huge evolution on, the contemporary styles, Impressionism, Cubism. I mean, there's been
yes,
Fauvism. There's so many different styles of painting which came out of Europe, actually.
yeah. That is possible. But in general, Europe and the Western world, let's say, has become less spiritual,
Hmm.
more material, more materialistic, yes. Whereas your culture, especially,
Hmm.
spiritual is very important. It doesn't mean, that you have to have certain beliefs, but it's more, for me, spiritual is also more connected to the soul, and material is more connected to the mind. So in a way, the our paintings are more, if you want, more technical. You
Yes.
understand, more rules or more architects and things like
Hmm.
that.
Hmm.
Whereas in India there are also that, because they are very good draftsmen, very very good. But it has very often this spiritual content, which I don't know if art in India, maybe you are able to answer that. Art,
Hmm.
is that a form to connect to God in some ways?
Yes, in
Or
some ways, yes, yes, definitely. Because, like you said, a lot of the art is connected to religion and to spirituality. But I think again, there's a whole wave of modernism and contemporary art in India, where even I personally feel a lot of the which is the art which is spiritual in nature has changed form. It's no more
uh-huh.
so connected to it's more of for example, Ganesha, like you know he's the goddess, elephant god. I
Yes.
feel a lot of the work which is around Ganesha has become more in terms of stylized, rather than
Ah,
connected spiritually. It's more about the
yes.
form rather than the spirituality of it.
Ah,
So with the new generation, things are changing, I feel. And I think it's a very interesting thing you said, because even as artists of my generation, I'm not that young anymore. So it would I think do very well to us to look back at the origins of all of this, the mythologies, the spirituality of it, the religion of it, and extract from it, from literature, from the ancient literature, And I think we shouldn't forget it, because this connect with spirituality give us a lot of great art.
Yes, yes, yes. And also because for me, you said something before about what you paint is what
Mhm.
your culture is.
Yes.
But for me, it's also what you are in general, influenced by education, influenced by culture,
Yes.
whatever. I
Yes.
feel that you put on the paper whatever you are.
Yes.
And this, whatever you are, if you are connected with your own internal part,
Yes.
it will be real art for me. And then it will be like, it's one of the things I've heard Alvaro explain, that is what makes an artist.
Hmm.
Not just the technique, not just the colors or this or that, but it's what you feel, what
Exactly.
you can, that is what transmits something, what you can communicate. But this path of connection with yourself has to be open.
Absolutely. That's very beautifully said. I mean, I think part of I think artist's journey is to also discover yourself in the
Yes,
process.
exactly.
I mean, for me, it's
Exactly.
still happening. It's not really, I haven't really discovered who I am fully. So as an artist, I know that. So, it's
Welcome to the club, then.
like, yes. So that is part of the beauty of it all, that you discover yourself sometimes through art. That when you have that moment where you paint something and you identify with it totally.
Exactly. And
I
that
think,
gives you a feeling of wow, of
yeah,
completeness,
I think that day you're on top of the world, and the next day when
Yes,
you throw the painting in a dustbin, and you're like, okay, maybe not today.
yes, yes, because it's a process. But big painters, like I mentioned Alvaro before, also are in this process. They are still in this process. So everyone has to continue. I don't think there is a place to arrive. You can just, the journey just keeps going.
That was really interesting to me when you said that. And it's a lot of artists struggle with finding their voice. And I think because they're trying too hard to find something and not really, doing it for the process, just painting for the process to discover, to experiment, teaches you a lot about yourself. So also, I think it's really interesting how the boundaries, international boundaries, are now melting a bit, because the more people meet, the more artists are convening and discussing and painting together and learning from each other. The cultures are kind of mixing a bit. And I mean, I would love to know your take on it. For example, if I do Alvaro's workshop, versus, say, someone from England. And I think I mean, of course, I will take a bit of the flavor of their culture, and vice versa. So how does that, how do you see art evolving in the future?
Um, I hope I see too much of trying to copy, trying
Hmm.
to,
That's the other
uh,
thing.
because this person, this style is very successful, I will try to replicate that. And that for me is a total mistake, because it can be used to learn, like every painter would copy the classics, all these impressionists or Turner or whatever. But then during this journey that we discussed about before, there is the journey of finding who you truly are. What is your personality? Oh, it doesn't come out well. I know that if I do the city style, like these famous painters, I know it will look better. But maybe that is not how you really want to, how you feel the city. Maybe, and you can learn how to do it technically, but then move on. What is the future? The future should be in younger people, younger generations, starting to teach children. Like I see that I have two grandkids, granddaughter and grandson. The way they paint, when I paint watercolor with them, I say, wow, I wouldn't be able to do that, because it's the spontaneity. the children have this spontaneity.
Absolutely amazing.
And they see things and they don't have the censorship to say, no, this is not the right color, the right value, this is too wet, this is too dry. No, they just go with what they feel.
Yes.
And this is what we have to stop from breaking. Because then when you grow up, the rules start to come. No, you have to do this, you have to do that. No, this is not good. Let this continue and flow, encourage. So the future is in the younger generations, and let them express themselves. And then from there, take it from there. Take it from there, and so we can renew the world, especially if we're talking about watercolor. Not that what we have is excellent, because there are so many excellent painters, but let the young generation develop, teach, give them our support to express themselves and a bit of guidance. And then, but without, suppressing, without saying, no, this, no. And then that they, start painting like that. No, let them be. Let them be.
Wow.
Because creativity is in there. The most important thing is not if a painting looks right, but creativity. How do you let the brain flow creatively? How do you maintain this connection with how you feel? That is what teachers should help the kids and the younger people.
I think as we grow older, we stop listening to the inner voice.
Yeah, that is difficult to teach because it's not a technique. You can teach values, you can teach, that is technique. It's easier. I mean, it may take you some time, but it's like there is 20 items or 10 items, and once you learn the items, you are done. But this, how do you teach? It is difficult, but it is, for me, that is the future.
On that beautiful note, I want to thank you so much, Angela. That was a really, really interesting conversation. And I really hope people enjoy listening to this, and they, they take back something from this with all your experience. And
together with yours, because you also have a lot of experience, and we met in India. Remember, we met in India.
Yes.
That was so lovely.
Yes, I know. I'm waiting for the days when we can meet soon and enjoy, just the atmosphere of so many artists, the energies, the auras of all the artists. It's amazing. Thank you so much, Angela.
And thank you for this opportunity. I really hope we can meet soon. And congratulations for your project.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
See you very soon. Bye-bye.